Have you wondered what happens after death or what the afterlife looks like? Join us in this conversation between a Karni-Bharni manuscript and one of Dante's Commedia as we partner with the Holkham Hall and Estate to explore notions of hell and punishment across cultures within manuscript tradition. Hindu and Jain traditions have numerous examples of illustrated manuscripts that deal with the complex subject of death and the afterlife. Jain philosophy has detailed accounts of karma, elaborating on the types of deaths, hells, and tortures inhabitants face within these realms.
In Abrahamic religions, hell represents a place of eternal punishment for the souls of those who sin during their lifetime on earth. The concept of hell has been at the center of the Christian doctrine from antiquity to the present, but in Italy it found a perfect literary and artistic representation in illuminated manuscripts of the so-called Divina Commedia. The Divina Commedia is a poem written in the early 14th century by Dante Alighieri of Florence. It is the tale of his own recovery from loss and despair to wisdom and reconciliation, by way of a journey through hell, purgatory, and paradise. Holkham Hall Library possesses 5 manuscripts of the poem, including a very early copy, possibly bought by an early owner in 1334, and therefore only a few years later, the death of Dante in 1321.
In contrast, where one's deeds on earth determine whether they go to heaven or hell, Jain philosophy centers around the cycle of birth and death. A person's karma during their life decides their destiny of the next life. They keep juggling between heaven, earth, and hell until they manage to attain true knowledge and become a siddha, freeing them from the cycle.
In contrast, souls in the traditional Christian hell are granted no escape. Having voluntarily broken their pact with God, they are condemned to eternal punishment. We find vivid representations of their punishments in the margin of a manuscript of Dante's Commedia, formerly at Holkham Hall in Norfolk, and now at the Bodleian Library in Oxford. The manuscript was produced in the first half of the 14th century in Naples, in southern Italy, at the time of King Robert the Wise. It is one of the earliest copies of the Commedia to be illustrated with a full pictorial cycle.
This illustrated Karni-Bharni manuscript from Western India, probably Gujarat, is written in the Devanagari script and dates back to the late 19th, early 20th century. It is part of the Jain tradition of cosmological manuscripts that dwell on the 7 realms of hell known as Naraka. These occupy the lower body of the Loka Purush or the cosmic man. Karni-Bharni translates to "as you sow, so shall you reap." It depicts the cause and effect of karma on the Narkiyas or inhabitants of hell who endure varying degrees of tortures based on bad deeds of their previous lives. These vividly illustrated manuscripts, painted in a robust style, consist of scenes that can evoke fear and discomfort in people. More specifically, in the Karni-Bharni, grotesque demons of various kinds are depicted punishing the Narkiyas in a series of hells.
Dante's hell descends into the earth into a cylindrical cone shape, divided in 9 circles. The graver the sins, the deeper the circle, and the harder the punishment. Some tortures in the Commedia find similarities with those inflicted on Narakiyas in the Karni-Bharni manuscript. In both manuscripts, for instance, some sinners are placed head down in cauldrons or in pipe-like ground holes.
Here, we see demons crushing humans, piercing them with weapons, slicing them into pieces, and suspending them on spears. But the torture does not end there. Narcias are also subjected to the rage of animals. Various folios show figures being eaten by animals, birds pecking at human flesh, or figures enduring the sting of snakes and scorpions. But in some cases, the artist has taken the liberty of showing all of these elements, as in this folio, where two demons are torturing people while being bitten by snakes, stung by a scorpion, and the flesh pecked by crows, all at once.
In the Commedia, thieves are likewise immobilized and bitten by lizards, dragons, or snakes that also curl around them and bind their hands. Red inscriptions identify infamous thieves from Florence alongside Dante and Vergil, the ancient Roman poet who guides Dante through the afterlife realms.
Similar to Dante's Inferno, this manuscript names various levels of hell along with the demons and creatures that inhabit them. This folio illustrates a scene from the Kalasutra Narak where two demons, Kato and Jaro, stand around a circular container enclosed by heads that appear to be set on fire. The container is filled with a green boiling liquid in which people appear drowning.
In Dante's Commedia, corrupt politicians are similarly immersed in a lake of boiling pitch, while 10 winged demons are ready to pierce, skin, and slice them up as they attempt to emerge from the lake. The darker, subdued tones chosen by the Italian artist to represent the scenarios of hell are in sharp contrast, though, to the bright colors used by the artist of the Karni-Bharni Manuscript. Whereas the slight damage of the image reminds us of the antiquity of the manuscript and its well-traveled history.
Contrary to Dante's Divine Comedy, this Karni-Bharni manuscript does not have a protagonist, nor does it follow a definite storyline. It simply reveals the horrors of hell and aims to instill fear in humans to live a life of good karma. Pudar Das, an 18th century poet, wrote that the world is marked by impermanence. Just like that, Narcias do not have to perpetually stay in hell. They have a chance to repent and ascend to higher realms.
As a visitor just passing through hell, Dante is allowed to escape. His journey continues through purgatory to paradise. Here, the artist displays a bright palette of red, green, blue, and gold to represent the eternal beatitude of paradise for those who led a good life on earth.
The two manuscripts tell us how religions across the world often use similar methods to keep their flock from straying, and how art has been used to convey these messages. These works propagate ways of living an ideal life and emphasize the consequences of straying from the chosen path.